Welcome to Tack Talk. I'm your host, Nadirah Nazeer. My guest today is Marvin Theodore, who drove all the way from Montreal for 5 hours. He's a specialist in habits of power. He works in the gym for the past 10 years and has concentrated on his own personal training for more than 15 years. He has battled with severe anxiety, anger, isolation, depression, and eating disorder, rooted from a fear of not being good enough. His passion and dedication, along with a team of experts, is to foster growth in individuals to be realigned with their best self. Ultimately, that can only happen when that positive change starts with us. His life dream is to bring about a huge shift in the world to encourage people in the realization that they actually have more control over their wellness than they realize. Marvin,
Yes.
welcome.
Welcome.
First of all, thank you so much for driving 5 hours from Montreal.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you just arrived.
Yes, indeed.
And I want to tell the viewer today, yes, the set looks a little bit different. We are actually sitting on these great balls, right?
Indeed.
That's your brought, thank you. First of all, let's start with, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you decide to be more than just a personal trainer? You get people to kind of realize with their better self.
Yes. Well, for me, I had it a bit easy growing up in my life. And I realized that it was almost a downfall for me because it did not develop some reflexes for me to pay attention to certain things. Meaning, let's say you have a nice mother that nurtures you. It's like, oh, my sons didn't do the dishes, I'll do it anyways. So I didn't have to rely on certain things if someone else was going to do it. But now when you have to rely on yourself, you're going to realize that if you didn't have a habit of doing certain things, it's like having atrophied legs that when you're like, okay, well, I could get up anytime, and then you're like, I can't move, what's the matter? I noticed that, wow, why am I not able to do what I actually want to do? So I'm like, I'm actually a prisoner of something that I can't see. Something's blocking my legs, I don't know what it is. So I'm like, in my training, I discovered that the best thing I could do in my workouts is to make sure that I develop the awareness that enables me to see the things that are around me every day, the things that block me, like the opportunities for me to develop my character on a regular basis. And it's not the super method that I use that costs like $50,000 or the most expensive bike that matters, is that I have a version of it that is so little that it will not drain my willpower, so that it's always accessible to me no matter what happens. So I have to find a version of what I need. It's so downsized that no matter what happens, it almost looks like a joke. It sounds like a joke, but it's exactly what matters. The habit is more important than the super extra method, because at least you have an investment in discipline. Now, when you have a better method, at least you have discipline that you don't have to make an extra effort to use. You've always used it on a regular basis.
So you talk about the power of habits.
Yes.
Okay, so how long does it take for a person to develop a habit?
In average, we'll say about 21 days. And
Okay.
it could vary. It could vary to the amount of conscious effort that you're able to put into the daily action that will lead to the new behavior that leads to the result that you want. So when something's not working, it's just because the behavior, the preset behaviors you have are not compatible consciously or unconsciously with what you want. So you just have to be like, okay, what's missing here? What perspective am I not seeing that if I saw this angle, it'd be much easier for me to do these things. So if I'm really present with what I'm doing, I could get that result done in maybe even 2 weeks. It could be 2 months. It depends really to which degree I could put power into my concentration versus going through empty movements and hoping to get the right result.
So, but how do you get somebody to be conscious in their efforts so that they actually create that habit?
Yes, they'll have to start developing some reference points. Give you an example. What would be a good reference point? Let's say that your exercise program is working.
I'm losing weight.
Yes, you're losing weight.
seeing
Good.
Muscle tone.
But what happens if you don't see on the scale that you're losing weight? What would be the natural tendency for you?
So first of all, maybe do a diary of what I'm eating.
Yes. Yes.
Have I changed my habit of eating and how much am I eating?
Yes. So it would help because you're already looking at what might be going wrong.
Yeah.
And you might not discourage yourself, but the majority of the people, there will be a slight dip. It's like, hey, what I was expecting to see that would confirm to me, to validate to me that I'm doing the right things, I'm not seeing it. But they're not even looking at it from a different perspective of what am I not seeing. So if I could give them clear examples of what to expect in their day, that confirms in other ways than just a scale that they're on the right track, they have an abundance of things confirming to them like, good job here. And all throughout the days, they're getting like these good jobs and high fives because they have these daily validations that keep their morale high because they are consistent with the efforts that actually making a difference in their lives. So they could see it, they could feel it.
So Marvin, you're the cheerleader.
Yes, there you go. I allow them to develop their automatic cheerleader system. If they are aware of it, they're like, wow, I'm always finding these occasions where I have these wins all the time, so my morale's always high. So if your morale's always high, whatever that you're doing related to fat loss, energy, is going to be higher. So your hormones, you're set in a mode to be able to have the best version of yourself. And I think that's what happens sometimes, and we'll talk about this topic as well. When their morale is really low, that's exactly, you just need to spend more time with your head above the water. And if we could do like next time we'll have a quick segment in exercise, we'll get to actually experience that. Okay. How even our posture affects, our clearest mindset or our negative mindset.
So I just want to say to our viewer, one of the reasons we're sitting on this ball, and I'm glad I'm doing it,
yes.
I realize how bad my posture is. Because now I'm consciously having to make an effort to sit up for my core.
Yes.
To sit up.
Yes.
Because what some of the statistic is that an average Canadian sits 10 hours a day.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes.
That's a lot of hours.
Yes.
And I've heard about this terminology that sitting is the new smoking.
Yes.
So for somebody who loves watching TV or sitting down, is it ideal for them maybe to get one of those balls instead of sitting on a couch to sit on this? What's the benefit of sitting on a ball?
The benefits of sitting on a ball is that you will be able to turn something, let's say you would see the pipeline of a negative habit. You're going to be, well, a negative habit is I'm sitting all day, 10 hours, and that's affecting my posture, and the muscles that are supposed to keep me erect are getting tired. So, or I'm not working them out, so it's going to be hard to keep my posture, it's going to be hard to breathe well. That's a bad thing, right? So now how about I turn into the solution? Every time I'm in a position to have the pipeline of something negative, instead of trying to invent something new, let me use that bad habit, which is sitting down all day, and turn into the solution. So every time I have an opportunity to do something negative, actually I set it up so I put into practice what will lead me to the results that I actually do want to have.
So is the advice for folks out there to invest into one of those balls and put it in front of their TV and sit on it?
Yes, with the right assistance. With the right assistance, meaning the ball could be too low sometimes. It could be too high.
Okay.
So if it's well tailored at the right height for you, it would be something that would be very beneficial for you. Because the thing is, I believe that most people already are geniuses. They know what to do if they could see what's going wrong. So when you sit on the ball, you trigger that. It's like, it's true. If you sit on the ball, it gives you a chance to see what's aligned or not aligned.
Yeah, because I can exactly slouch.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I have to be sitting up. And that you're actually using your core right now for me to also stay balanced, because I want to make sure I don't fall off, right?
So what you would be doing here is the law of controlling your environment to stay in the positive mindset and the positive loop of good habits that could only corner you into the results that you want to have. So every time you're sitting down, you're actually getting closer to the result you really want to have. And that's like less pain in your life because your back's always hurt. And chronic back pain is something that even myself I had to deal with it and overcome. And the mood that I'm in, the perfect alignment, I had to trick myself to do everything with a good posture so that even when let's say I'm tired or I'm not focused, I'm going to have the automatic habit of realigning my posture all the time. So when someone says, Marvin, what's your secret to have a good posture? I'm like, okay, my posture is not bad. But the only difference, do you think you would guess what the difference between, let's say, my posture and the average person's posture would be?
I would say yours is better.
But why do you think? One guess.
Because you're conscious of it. Right? You're conscious of it, and it's a practice, a habit. You've created some really good habit for yourself.
Yes.
Right? And that conscious effort that you're making every time.
Yes. So the conscious effort created an automatic habit now, so that even when I don't think about it, what I consciously thought about is in automatic mode. So I set something up to back me up in case, I'm not all there one day. And the only difference is that I correct myself more often than someone else.
So autocorrect all the time.
Exactly.
So
simply that.
So stay with us. In the next segment, we're actually going to have a guest that's joining us. She's in remission for breast cancer. And also Marvin here will teach us how to do some practical exercise that everybody can do at home every day. After this commercial, we'll be right back.
Losing weight and feeling fit is a simple 3-point process: diet, exercise, and a weight reduction supplement. VeggieSlim by Greenish is a Health Canada approved weight management formula that's effective, safe, vegetarian, and natural to use. Combined with the right diet and exercise plan, VeggieSlim will bring you back onto the path of healthy living.
Welcome back, everybody. I am here with Marvin Theodore, personal trainer from Montreal. Also joining us is Navneet Sharma. She's a breast cancer survivor and in remission for the past 6 months. So Marvin is going to show us some big misconception regarding training. So Marvin,
yes.
So tell us about the misconception. Tell us what we should learn. Navneet and I, we are ready.
All right.
To follow your instructions.
Excellent. I'm very excited.
All right.
Okay? So one quick example to always remember what is the biggest problem with, let's say, just in general, the industry. The problem is that we're not educated on what really matters to get the right results. Okay? And that is, most of the time, we'll have someone that's physically, technically, if you look on the cameras, in the gym, but if it'd be another way of sensing where their mind is, it's not at all in the parameters. Their minds could be at work, their minds could be at home, their minds could be with their homework, but their minds are not in the gym. And no one really taught me that your mind has to be at the same place of where your muscles are.
Exactly.
And once I had my clients looking out the window, and I'm like, well, go outside. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, if you're looking outside, you're gonna go where you're looking, like your car. If you keep looking left, you're gonna eventually go there. So if you wanna go outside because you're looking there, go outside. It's like, but then I'm like, but think about it, because I know her, and it made her think. I'm like, what does he mean? It's because you go where you look at. So exactly. If you are looking inside, you're gonna go inside. And if I get to know myself as I'm doing the exercise, I'm welding everything that I'm learning into a permanent way into me. So I'm not gonna go to my gym and be like, oh, what did my trainer say again? I find a way of welding in that information. What we're gonna do today is gonna weld in the information where we're never gonna make a mistake with our squats.
So when we're doing weights,
yes.
Any type of exercise, we
yes.
should be present with it.
Exactly.
So that when we are doing those weights, we can get those guns finally, right?
We'll get the guns faster because because let's say if I go look at a exercise on the internet, a lot of people do that to save money. Well, it'll show me how to do the movement correctly, and I became a master of that real quickly, and I found out that, well, because I'm doing the movement correctly means the right muscles are engaged. Mm-hmm. So I had to be more aware of what am I supposed to feel. So it's not just what it looks like, but what is supposed to be engaged. Mm-hmm. And now, what is it that I want to avoid? So I want to be sensitive to the pain I want, sure. The right muscles being engaged, and also have to be sensitive to the pain that's not productive for me. So pain is actually good if I could identify the ones that are good for me and the ones that are not good for me. So in a squat, the pain that could be, that I want to avoid is the pain I could get in my back.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So if we're not doing a squat properly, which you're going to show
yes.
us how to do it properly,
yes, I will.
We can get back pain.
Definitely.
Okay, so Marvin, lead the way.
All right. So the secret to hurting your back is making sure that you twerk. You're like, what? What are you talking about, Marvin? Okay. Listen to me. Okay. So what your back actually needs to be doing in a squat is to stay stable. My spine needs to stay stable. Okay. What happens that, let's say if I think about, okay, have a good posture, Marvin. Great. So I have a good posture, I bring my shoulder blades back, but I've just stretched my abdominal wall. Okay. So if I'm going down here in this way, I'm like actually crunching the pressure of my vertebrae together. Okay. So then the more I would force with weights, the more I would be pressing my vertebrae together. And for me, the moment I started training, my back was already injured. It took me 8 years before my back actually got injured, so I'm resistant. But if I would have went back in the past, I would have asked a coach to let me know what am I supposed to feel to guide me until I'm doing it safely. Mm-hmm. So now I've learned that when I go down, I felt like I was blessed because I'm like, hey, I'm not like those people here where they're back rounded, so I'm safe. No, the other extreme is not good either. Mm-hmm. So because I was all proud of myself, and see, now when I think about my abs in my squat, it straightens my spine. Is that how you're supposed to do it? Yes, you will straighten your spine. Show us exactly how we're supposed to do it. Am I facing you? Yes. Am I facing? So I guess I'm facing the camera here. You could face the camera. So the fastest way of doing it is, let's give a trick. Let's try to remember about a visual, right? Okay. Baseball. So let's say I'm going to go watch my nephew at a baseball game. So my hands are on my knees. Okay. Great, awesome. Everyone's there? Yes, excellent. Yes. Now I could feel my abdominal wall stretching. I curved my back. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to squeeze my abdomen it becomes straight, and I'm going to keep exaggerating my hips forward till my back rounds. See?
Okay.
So when I twerk, I'm going past the point I want, and when I go back in the middle, I could stop at the line I actually want. So now you're going to stop at the middle where you feel your shoulder blades in tension and your abs in tension at the same time. So it takes simultaneously both of them to keep your back in the middle, because tightening my abs rounds me forward, straightening my shoulder blades creates a straight line, and now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my hands, keep my body weight on my heels more, and come a little bit lower in the same angle. See? Come back up, all the way up. The hips move a bit forward. I push back my angle just a tiny bit, not too much, and I feel my abs, I feel my shoulder blades, and that's my license to go down. See? And one little trick, how do I know if I'm doing it well? I could wiggle my toes. See?
All right.
So that means that I didn't put all my weight on the front of my feet.
Okay.
Now, what is the danger of putting all the weight on your feet? Is that you'll be doing a move of Michael Jackson and you won't be doing a squat. What it does is that it's going to push the angle of your knee to be too much of a sharp angle, which does not align your knee and your muscles to be in their strongest angle.
Okay, so let's try this again. So I'm going down slowly.
So by pushing back my hips, I'm keeping my body weight on my heels more, and I'm not going to have my knees moving so forward that I put an aggressive angle on my knee. So by seasoning my angle, and when I say seasoning, meaning I just change a little bit of angle of my body, and I come down, I'm keeping my head and my balance over my heels. So now it would be good. See, I'm almost exaggerated. See, I feel that tension in my back. I stabilize with my abdomen, and I come back up. So the best way to do a squat is this. Change your angle. Because if you go too forward, it's going to be your back. That works just a little bit of an angle. I keep my abs tight, my shoulder blades together as I come down. And then I confirm that my body weight's more on my heels. You see, if you're not sure, push back now.
Oh,
see?
I get
there
it.
you go. See?
I get it.
I feel my legs, I feel my glutes, I feel my abs, and then I come back up.
Wow.
And you're going to be like, but that's a lot of things.
What do you think?
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you feel it?
Yes, I can.
So as long as you confirm, my legs are working, and I'm like, how can I get my glutes more? Well, you know how to keep coming back at the last place that you left a bookmark. Now from there, we're going to be like, okay, how do I get my glutes more? Well, we're going to go back from where we left off, and we might change the stance of our legs, which will help us to go a little bit lower and to get our glutes more into tension. You're in perfect control.
So that's one of them.
That's one of them.
And what will be another one you can teach us today?
Another one would be to make sure that you have the most productive push-up, let's say. Okay? The most productive push-up. Yes, that is one of them. There's the plank. But I would say let's use what we have here already.
Okay, perfect.
The Swiss ball crunch.
I am all good with this instead of the push-up. How about you, Navneet?
Of course, this is better.
Yes, because you told me that you didn't want to put pressure on your arm. Good, so there's always an option, right? So what I'm going to do here with my abs is I actually have to align. For me, I have to remember an example where I will never forget my exercise.
Okay.
What I tell myself when I'm on this ball is that I want the south pole of the attachment of my abs and the north pole of the attachment of my abs to come and meet at the equator.
Okay.
So I'm aware that these two attachments could come and meet at the middle. It implies that right away. So I'm going to make sure the middle of my back is set up in a way as there's an equal distance from both assertions that are going to come and meet in the middle. So like, how do I know I'm at the right position? Well, so that the center of both points is perfectly in the middle.
So how do we do that?
You're going to roll yourself forward to win.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. And see, go back up a little bit more.
All right.
Yeah, so that in between both points, see, a little bit higher up. Now they're kind of more centered at an equal distance, a little bit more. I would take wider at my legs, so you can feel more comfortable. Wider sense of the legs. Okay, and see here, right here at this present moment, there should be a tension in your abs.
Yes, there is.
As you exhale, you're going to shorten that distance. Go ahead, exhale, shorten the distance. I didn't feel it move. There you go, move. And then as you inhale, don't let it go completely. Let it stretch, but there's still a tension. And when you exhale, squeeze even harder.
And how many times do I have to do this?
You would, till you could actually keep moving. You could stop at 8 or you could stop at 15.
So I like that exercise because you could be sitting here and watching TV.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then when there is commercial breaks, you can just roll a little bit and then do your exercise.
And that would be another way of doing it if you're at work or you're working from a desk often. Just keeping yourself active in the right mind, the right movement is the habit that you're doing. And you're not going to get overly sore because you did too much of it. It's just a way of like, it's like you jogged around the office a few times. You're not going to get overly sore from that. So when you don't want to do too much is when you really have like a lot of weight that you're adding, a lot of resistance. It's like it's a real super intense workout. Then I wouldn't do that all day, 2-3 days, the same thing. But if I'm just seasoning something at work, it's not a real workout. So it's just keeping me active, it's keeping my blood flowing, and it keeps my mind sharp as well. So I
what
would
would be the third one?
The third one, like I said, would have been the push-up.
Using the ball.
Using the ball. Using the ball.
I'm not a big fan of push-up. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, there's no push-up. So with the ball, I would say...
Navneet, do you want to try the push-up?
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, she's good.
I would say it's how using the same position of your abdominals could get you to the position that's right beside working more your glutes, your lower back, and your hamstrings.
So how do we do that?
So all I would do is I would slide on the ball so that my upper back is actually exposed to the middle of the ball. From there on, I could work more on keeping a contraction manually in each individual glute.
Okay, so I'm lifting my...
Yeah, your butt, you're keeping it at the top, but you have to feel each glute individually work. Why? Because one has a tendency to work more than the other, right? So you make sure that they're equally in tension. There's no tension in my neck so I could breathe. And then I listen to, am I feeling the right tension in my hamstrings? I should feel it there.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Am I feeling the right tension in my glutes?
Yes.
Am I feeling the right tension in my lower back? So there's a good tension in my neck and a bad tension in my neck. The good tension in my neck is when my neck is stabilized and it's working to stay stable correctly. The bad tension in my neck is because I broke my neck forward and it's because my neck is upset because I'm not respecting it and I don't know its proper alignment. So find the perfect position for my head here. It looks like the same thing when I'm perfectly standing up.
Yeah, because that's why your neck hurts when you're in that position, right?
So now you learn how to stabilize something that's the same thing, but in a different angle now. So if you're like, but it's the same thing as when I'm sitting at my desk. Yeah, I know. It's the same thing when I'm driving. My head's the same way. I know. So you want to have a theme where whatever you feel you really need to work on, it's the same theme in everything that you're doing. So if you're someone that's like, hey, I have problems with my posture, you have to see how everything you do in your life, your posture's involved in it.
Because really for the viewers, what I want them to get from this is that we're trying to move away from the couch to the ball. I think the ball is great. Maybe we start a new trend, sitting on the ball. And when you're sitting on the ball, whether you're working or whether you're watching TV, in between commercial, and that's your reminder to have one of those quick exercises.
Yes, indeed. And that would be a way where you could, as long as you practice to be well aligned in your movement, you'll be good. You won't be at risk of trying to, it's not a time to have a workout. You're just trying to keep your blood flowing, your mind going the right direction, and it
you feel
would be
more
positive.
energized after you get up from here instead of getting up from the couch.
Exactly.
So Navneet, how do you feel?
Great. Sweaty.
There you go.
Sweaty, yeah.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break. We're going to wash up a little bit, and we'll be right back with Marvin and Navneet.
Losing weight and feeling fit is a simple 3-point process: diet, exercise, and a weight reduction supplement. VeggieSlim by Greenish is a Health Canada approved weight management formula that's effective, safe, vegetarian, and natural to use. Combined with the right diet and exercise plan, VeggieSlim will bring you back onto the path of healthy living.
Welcome back, everybody. As you can tell, we are all changed and refreshed. I am back with Marvin Theodore, personal trainer, as well as Navneet Sharma, who is in regressions for breast cancer. Wow, look at you guys. You dressed up, cleaned up very nicely. Very nicely. So before we get to your story, Navneet, what I wanted to do is maybe ask you a very important question.
Yes.
Being a personal trainer for the past 10 years, what do you think the industry should change? How should it change?
I think it should change by making sure that people have the option of finding something that's more tailored to them, meaning everyone has a different a curve of learning speed, and will perhaps take more time to associate the right examples, the right imagery before they engage into exercises. When they do so, it's easy for them to find what they need to do so that they don't get hurt. So too many people are going unchecked into physical activity, thinking they're doing something great while doing something that there's nothing to celebrate about, meaning they're doing the right thing, but they don't know how to keep it the right thing in their lives. It's turning into something that's terrible for them.
So do you think that education should be done through school as well as work?
Yes, school would be a great time. You want to make sure that it's done at a time where, you know what, we know by this age they were at least exposed to that to the degree that they want to to go deeper into it, they can. It's like when you have like school systems, you have certain programs. It's like, okay, everyone we know they did that. Like let's say during the summertime, even if it's something that's done at camp times, like during the summertime, so that the kids could be ready for school. But they learn the proper alignment of their body. They learn the proper alignment of their thoughts. They know what to expect. So their training physically sets them up for the training of to succeed in their daily battles. So it's like, well, how do I stand up to a bully? Okay, what can I do in my physical activity that would keep me to give me the mindset so I could speak up when it's time for me to speak up. So I would create a theme in my exercise that I need to respond at the right time. So timing would be important for me. So every exercise that child would do would be turning around timing. So he understands that when I do something at the right time, the right things happen.
So it sounds, Marvin, you may be starting a movement here.
Yes.
Yeah, your own Facebook, social media movement to get things to change.
Yes, yes.
And what I wanted to do is transition to Navneet here on her story. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for doing that exercise. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with your sickness, and also how that changed you now that you're more active, you're up exercising more often?
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much, Nadirah, for having me here and sharing my own story. So last year in January, I got diagnosed with breast cancer, which was grade 3, very big tumor, and they had to change the line of treatment for me because usually the surgeries they do before, then they do chemo and radiation. But because my tumor was pretty big, they had to do chemotherapy first, then surgery, because they had to shrink the tumor and then they could do my mastectomy. So yes, I had been through a tough time, but I always had that my heads up that I'm gonna win it. I'm a fighter, so I did that. And actually, I would say
He's smiling because mental fitness is extremely important. But continue.
So I would actually want to add with Melvin that whenever I used to go for the chemotherapy, my doctor used to push me. They usually pushed the patients to go for the walking or light exercising.
Yes.
You know, for 20 minutes walk, and you can't imagine when you're taking your chemotherapy, you're like a dead meat. You have no strength because all your cells, good cells, are killed. But they always used to push that as much as you will exercise, you'll feel better, less fatigue. So there only it started in my brain that I can't sit down. You know, I want to do something. So I was doing it a little bit, stretching, deep breathings, walking. But then once my treatment was finished, then I started going for the walk for 20 minutes and then started deep breathings and some, exercises on the ball, like which we were doing before, because my posture got very bad. Because when they had done my bilateral mastectomy, there was no weight up here. So all the weight went on the back or on the stomach. So my posture went like this. So then this is still a better posture of mine. Otherwise, I used to sit hutch like this. So I started working out on the ball more and still trying to make it better.
So going to self-motivations, I know you and I talk a little bit about that. This is a question for both of you. I start with you, Marvin.
Yes.
How does somebody self-motivate?
Yes. Well, how someone self-motivates is exactly that. They have to understand how themselves get moved by things that matter to them. I'm giving you an example. Like, if you notice the patterns in when you do things that do work for you, what are the common denominators when you're always at your best? Okay, and then when things don't work out for you, where are the common denominators that let's say where you're not at your best? And it's just to basically, when you self-motivate yourself, it's just you trying to corner yourself in a way, knowing what you want to avoid from yourself, like that game Snakes and Ladders?
Yes.
You want to surround yourself in a pattern that whatever happens, there are ladders around you. But real things, with real examples that you have in your life, where all the times that you showed courage, let's say, or if you want to be a fighter, all the times that you were a fighter. Now try to use exercise that keep you in the mindset that you're a fighter. You get it? And now, because you have no choice to be a fighter, your whole cells, all of your cells have to be on the same theme. We're a fighter. And then the back muscles are like, what do? We're a fighter. Then every part of your body is in harmony with the same thing of being a fighter. So, because you have no choice. So turn meaning and give a meaning to your daily life. That's what I said. That's how you motivate.
So that's when you go up the ladder.
Yes.
You may go down and go back up.
Yes.
Exactly.
So for you personally, with that personal experience, how did you self-motivate yourself?
So I always believe in one proverb called "do or die." We can't die. It's not in our hands.
It's not an option.
It's not the option.
Yes.
Then do it with a smile. I promised myself that I am not going to cry. I'm going to fight it. That's what I did. And because of this, like when I used to see the people in the hospital, the women in the hospital, very depressed and sad, I used to always got ready with a bright dress, with a bright lipstick, used to go for my treatment. Just to give them the message that, hey, I'm the youngest in the whole ward, in the whole chemo suite, but I'm happy. Because with the happiness, with your own willpower, you can fight with anything. You can kill any evil. That's what I did.
So I know you have an event coming up on November the 2nd. So tell us a little bit about your event.
Sure. So when I was taking my treatment, I actually founded an organization called Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation. That's for the people, those who are going through cancer and their families needed some support. So it was my vision, my husband, my kids, and my family friends, they supported me. So last year we did our annual event, first annual event, and we could raise $20,000 for the research for the younger women. And this year we are doing it on 2nd November, which is at Apollo Convention Center. We are doing some special performances, out of which one of the surprising performances by breast cancer survivors. You know, they are bringing fantastic performance, and yeah, so we are doing that and want to raise more money for the research.
Excellent. And at the end of the show, we'll have that information regarding the upcoming event, and also your information about how to reach you if anybody wants to donate towards this great cause.
Sure. So they can reach us on the Facebook cancerwarrior.ca or Instagram or Twitter, and we have a website called cancerwarrior.ca. They can reach me at Navneet Sharma 647-894-9505, and we can give them it's a very minimal amount ticket, $50 only, and that's it. We just need the support of the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much today for coming. You were such a great trooper.
Thank you.
And great survivor, great story, because at the end of the day, it's all about that mental strength that you talk about. So any other words of wisdom here to our viewers?
Yes. Well, for me, once again, is if I have to leave any tip to anyone, is keep things simple. Whatever you want to change in your life, keep things simple, so that why do you want to work out? It's just so that you could enjoy your day. If you want to live your life, you want to make sure that you spend less time in your day worrying and more time in your day actually doing the stuff you want to do. So why do I exercise? Because it enables me to have the capacity to finish my day faster, so I can spend more of my day enjoying the stuff I want to do. How do I have such a good morale during my day? Because what I want to do outside of work, I create the theme inside of work of what I want to do outside of work. So I turn anything into what I really want to do. As long as everyone's happy, I'm not harming myself or the people that I'm respecting, so everyone's always happy around me. Because like, why is Marvin so happy? Well, what they don't know is that I transform what I really want to do to be respected in what my work demands of me. So I transform with my awareness. I'm so connected to what my strengths are, what my boss wants from me. It's so clear that I have like a brochure where all the things I want to do and everything that my boss demands from me, everything's respected. The people I'm going to serve are all respecting everything that I do. So I'm always on the same theme, so it's simple. I don't have to force myself to, or I have to motivate myself. No, I always get to do always what I want to do at any time.
And I want to tell the viewer, his resting face is actually a big smiley face. Yes, that is Marvin's resting face.
Thank you that you know that, because I have to tell people that all the time, like, hey, by the way, I'm really happy for real. I'm happy for real right now. This is me really happy. But exactly, when I've had to deal with all these strong emotions in my life, and it's to come back to what you mentioned, I could get anyone to do physical activity and want to go back there all the time. That's why I turn to people so that it's not like, oh, that it's like, I can't go through my day without this. That's what they want. It's like, hey, you've been going 6 days in a row, stop. No, it's okay. Marvin told me I could just do a walk and I'll be fine. You know, but once again, that's exactly it, is that if you enjoy what you're doing, people around you will want to do those things also.
So as you can tell, Marvin really enjoy what he's doing, and
Yes.
happiness, self-motivations, do those little exercises that we showed on the bar. I want to thank you both for coming today. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Again, thank you for driving all the way from
Thank you.
Montreal.
Thank you.
And good luck with all your fundraising.
Thank
That is
you.
such a great cause. You're such a great fighter. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
I would like to thank my fashion stylist, Susie Tomasi at SusieQJewels.com, as well as Titika store in Oakville for the athletic wear that I was wearing earlier, and my wonderful makeup artist, Mindy Baji. Please follow me on Instagram and check out my website, nadirah.ca, and also subscribe to Tag TV. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Until next time.